What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the NBA Rundown brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Bets and Run Pure Sports. It is Memorial Day. I hope you guys are enjoying your holiday weekend, and away we go. Today, I'd like to start by just giving some quick thoughts on what we saw yesterday. The first game we saw in the morning, it was a blowout. It was the New York Knicks, it was the Atlanta Hawks, and it was a pretty bad loss by the Knicks. Once again, they fell short in the third quarter. Hey, we ran down Nate McMillan for not making playoff adjustments. He's been very good in the third quarter of this series. Yesterday, it came through again. 35 to 22 in the third quarter. That was pretty much the deciding factor in the game here. Some issues with the Knicks and really the way that the NBA has switched over the last 10 years. Before, right? What do we always say? Defense wins championships, right? A good defense beats a good offense. Not anymore. The rules have changed. Freedom of movement. They want these scores. They want the high scoring. We are seeing the good offense beat the good defense here, and the Knicks simply can't keep up with the playmakers. We will talk about what to expect in Game 5 going forward, but it's really hard to see the Hawks dropping the series here. Whether it'll be 5 or 6, hey, we'll be debating that on the show going forward. But really, great season for the New York Knicks. They've definitely raised their statue. They've made themselves stature, not statue. They've made themselves more inviting for free agents to come to. Before, it's like, why would I go to New York and be a lottery team? Now, if you're a scorer, you're a playmaker, right? You can see yourself fitting in there. And if you get done in New York, you're a folk hero. You are a legend forever. It's different than getting it done in Indiana or just being, the next one in the line of Lakers legends, right? I mean, getting it done in New York would be just fantastic experience. So I expect them to be big players on either the free agent market or the trade market going into the offseason, as even though it looks like they're going to fall short in this playoff series, they have definitely raised their value amongst potential free agents or players that are disgruntled and want to be traded. So too bad for this series that they can't get it done. You know that I liked the Knicks before the series. I thought the defense would get it done. Looks like Atlanta has too much firepower. Credit to Trae Young for stepping up. And, of course, Julius Randle knows what he needs to work on. Hey, it's not over yet. He's got a game or two to turn this narrative around. But, hey, if he doesn't get it done, and this game 5 looks like these first 4, ooh, it's going to be very rough for Julius this offseason. So hopefully, he can turn it around even if they lose this Game 5. So a little disappointed there in the Knicks, but hey, give credit to the Hawks, give credit to that high-powered offense, and it looks like they will be advancing. Let's talk about, I'll save the Suns-Lakers for last. So I'm going to jump ahead to the Nets and the Celtics. If you watched me on the Pickswise show yesterday, you know that was my play. If you're a member of Run Pure Bets, you knew that was my play. And I absolutely loved it. It was exactly what we expected. The Brooklyn Nets bounce back. They're one of the few teams that would overlook a playoff game, but they did it, right? But they bounced back. The score was absolutely ridiculous. I had a great time hanging out with Keg yesterday. Score with D, Joey Work, right? And we hit the over in the second half there for that Nets game. As we just saw, the pace was so high, we didn't even need efficiency to go over. So that's the way that one goes. It looks like this series will wrap up in 5, and I was already kind of looking ahead. If this series wraps up in 5 like I expect, guess what happens on Saturday? That's when the Bucks and Nets will most likely tip off, and I cannot wait for that series. I've been a big Bucks backer, right? And if they're going to get it done, they're going to have to prove it against that team. A couple weaknesses I did see for the Brooklyn Nets, even against the Boston Celtics, who are not a good rebounding team. We've talked about their lack of bigs all year, right? The Nets still looked weak on the glass. You know that I like Milwaukee. You know that I will probably back Milwaukee in that series. And rebounding is going to be one of the big keys onto why I do that. Was not really impressed with their ability to hit the glass here. What I was impressed with, Kevin Durant's ability to play defense. Boy, I can't believe I ever doubted this guy coming back from Achilles injuries. Credit to modern science, because 20 years ago, that injury was a death knell. Your career was over. Vince Carter, 2000 dunk contest, over. Not anymore. Durant looks fantastic and definitely in the conversation for MVP, top 5 player. Obviously, didn't play enough to be an MVP, right? But you can argue that he might be the best player in the world. I wouldn't say that. Right now, to me, right now, the best player in the world, and we're going to talk about his game a little later, is Joel Embiid. But if you want to make an argument for Kevin Durant, I can't fault you at all. He has looked fantastic. Looks like that series will get wrapped up in Brooklyn. But with this Brooklyn Nets team, you never know. And let's go ahead and talk about the evening game. And this was a series that had flummoxed me. So I was really hesitant to get involved in this game last night because I'd been wrong game 1. I had been wrong game 2. I've been wrong game 3. I've had a great NBA playoffs, but I am not afraid to say that this series has not been my best work as an NBA handicapper. So, what happened last night? We talked about it on the rundown on Saturday, on the NBA rundown on Saturday with Tyler. We talked about the adjustments that the Clippers made, and that was running 5 out. That was spending less Zubac minutes, right? 5 out means that when Kyrie and Paul George get to the rim, there's not another defender there to rotate. And their transition defense was just fine here. We knew that the Mavericks could not shoot for over 50% from 3 for the full series. And it came to roost yesterday. Their shooting finally returned, right, to normal levels. 37, 38%, that's still fantastic. All right. So with the Mavericks returning to normal levels, the Clippers upping their offensive efficiency by operating a smarter game plan. Credit to Ty Lue. I was really down on Ty Lue on this show and on Twitter. Because some video out there I don't want, some tweets I might need to delete because he's made the right adjustments moving forward. And I don't think we can talk about that series. Wait, Kawhi Leonard's been great. Paul George, right? He's answering all these little jokes we put on Twitter. We've had a great time, myself included, because he feeds into himself. It's not like he makes himself a sympathetic figure with the way that he talks to the media about his failures, his team failures, things of that nature. Really puts a big target on his back. That being said, he stepped up. He's played well. Okay, but we expected that. The amount they get paid, the amount the Clippers gave up to get Paul George, he better play like that, okay? But who's the key to this series, who I love to see yesterday, and if you're a Clippers backer that you love to see the performance, the effort, the IQ, Nick Batum. Nick Batum. My guy Brandon Cola said I look like Nick Batum on the Keg Live show yesterday. I don't believe it, but I wish I played basketball like Nick Batum because he has been the difference to this series. Saw a great quote from an interview. You know what he did? After game 2? He said, hey, guys, I need some video of Draymond Green. I need some video of Boris Diaw because these are the players I'm going to need to emulate if I'm going to be able to help this team. That is the role I need to play. I need to be the best defensive stopper. I need to be the most versatile defender, and I need to knock down those open looks, pass in transition, get things going for my team. And that's exactly what he's done. Nick Batum, the decision by Ty Lue to give him more minutes, the decision by Nick Batum to be a smart player and emulate players that win, it's been the difference in the series so far. 2-2, going back to Los Angeles, you have to think that after going over that initial bump, falling down 2-0, absorbing all the jokes. I mean, I was on a Clippers subreddit, right? I mean, they were all worried that Kawhi Leonard is going to Golden State or going to Miami after game 2. And don't even get me started when they're down 30-10 or whatever in game 3. I mean, the whole subreddit, I mean, there's not really that many Clippers fans, but they were not happy, okay? Going 2-2 now, going back home. They've made the adjustments. It's on Rick Carlisle. And Luka doesn't look 100%. He came out last night. I thought he looked good in the first quarter. Something re-aggravated it, and I think that's going to be an issue going forward. I think it's going to be really tough because, so we're watching, but it's Keg Live, right? I'm keeping an eye on the chat. We got a soccer game going at the same time. Conversing, keeping everything going. I missed the second re-aggravation, but that's going to be there the whole time. Even if he comes out at the beginning of game 5 and looks great, it's always going to be a potential issue. From here, it looks like the Clippers take control. But with this series, nobody knows anything, right? 2-2, right? I mean, if you would have told me it's going to be 2-2, my most common scenario is Clippers win 2 at home, Dallas wins 2 at home. Second most common scenario, 1-1 at home, then 1-1 at home. We go back home 2-2. This was not the scenario I expected, okay? So I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what's going to happen next in this series, but I know what I am going to do, and that's enjoy the rest of the series. It's been fantastic basketball. Luka Doncic is just a joy to watch, and the coaching matchup, we thought that Ty Lue was outmatched. He made some great moves. Hey, it's easy to be a good coach when you have more talent, though, but give them credit. They did it, and they pulled that out. So now we go on to basically what I think everybody in the league cares about. It's the biggest fan base in the league. It's the most controversial team in the league. Of course, I'm talking about the Los Angeles Lakers. And we were ready to throw dirt on the Phoenix Suns, right? I mean, what a difference a day makes. So we're sitting here doing the rundown on Saturday. Chris Paul's 100%. He can't get it done. He might be hurting the team out there. I mean, that's how bad he looked in games 2 and 3. Lakers look completely healthy. This should be a sweep. 4-1. Let's start previewing that second round matchup. Whoa, not so fast. Number one, Chris Paul looks better. He's not 100%. But boy, that improved pretty quickly, right? Improved pretty quickly for Chris Paul. Definitely looked to be himself out there. Big steal towards the end of the game when the Lakers were getting momentum and looked like they might have a chance to pull off, the crazy comeback. Was not the case there as Chris Paul got a big steal. Of course, you always want his leadership on court. And if he's able to hit that mid-range jumper like he did there in game 4, that's going to be enough to get the Lakers over the hump without Anthony Davis. So the big story of the game, the big story of the day, the big story of the weekend, Anthony Davis goes down with a grade 1 groin strain. Grade 1 is minor tear, less than 5% of the tissue. But still, it's normally a 3 to 6 week recovery process. Now, what could be said positive? If you're a Lakers fan, and you're looking forward to Davis coming back, he was already kind of rehabbing the same style injury. Hopefully, it's completely precautionary, right? If you're a Lakers fan, hopefully, he's able to get out there and get it done. But let me just tell you, I'm not a doctor. You know what I did? I read a couple Twitter doctors and saw what they read. Okay, so don't take this as medical gospel here. But normally this would be 3 weeks sitting out with this type of strain. If it was the regular season, if it was the preseason, normal athletic ability, this is a 3-week injury. I think the idea that he's going to get out there and be effective in the next 2 days is pretty. I don't think it's very likely unless it was a completely precautionary move to pull him. So we will have to wait and see. It's so crazy. So going into game 3, right? We were looking at Luka pregame to see how we wanted to bet that game. I wanted to see videos of Chris Paul. Now I'm looking for videos of Anthony Davis before the game. Hey guys, this condensed schedule is coming home to roost, and I understand why the NBA did it, because if they didn't do this, it would have absolutely wreaked havoc on the salary cap, and I think it would have been I don't even know how they would have done it. So they had to do this, but it's wreaking havoc. Players are dropping left and right. I'm concerned about Luka. I'm concerned about AD. I'm concerned about Chris Paul in the East. Westbrook's not 100%, right? I mean, we saw these players dropping left and right. This could still go forward. So be careful making bold proclamations, because things can change in a blink of an eye. So they have not yet to put out a line for that game. So I don't know what to expect. I will obviously keep monitored for news. Oh, my bad, they did. The Lakers are plus 5.5 there. At that number, my guess is they don't expect Anthony Davis to play. Let's jump into today's games. And guys, since I'm by myself, if you got questions, throw them in the chat, and I'll try to answer them because, we got a little extra time today. You don't have to bounce the ideas off anyone. It's just me giving a monologue. If you guys are enjoying the content, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And let's go on to tonight. Philadelphia is playing Washington. Washington's movement all the way out to 8.5, and why not? Okay. The Wizards have lost the last 2 games by 25 points or more. They're not 100% healthy. And they have no answer for Joel Embiid. If we're talking DFS, I said it on Saturday when we were hanging out with JSU. Joel Embiid versus the Wizards is the best matchup of all the playoffs, just from an individual player and who's he going to have to go against. Okay, and I expect that to come home to roost tonight. You could make an argument for the Wizards, right? Philadelphia is a team that potentially could get complacent. Potentially. I really don't know though, and this is where I think Doc Rivers makes a big difference here. I mean, under Brett Brown, I would say this is a Wizard smash spot. He never got this team going for multiple games in a row, especially under winning. It was almost like he did better when they're losing because he had their focus. When they're winning, they did tend to get complacent here. Let's get a good idea how Doc Rivers manages in this. So the way I'm looking at this game is if I run the model, if I'm going through things, it would tell me to take the Wizards plus 8.5. With Westbrook not 100%, I don't even think Beal's 100%. It's really hard to back the Wizards. Don't really feel like laying the 8.5. Wait, it's out to 9. At some point, it becomes a Wizards or no play. This total is 229. I would think I'd like with the over here more than anything. If the Wizards do keep it close, this game goes over for sure, and you don't need to worry about falling within that 9. If Philly pulls off, like a 14-2 run or something at some point in the game and ruins your ability to cover that spread. Tough game to get involved with, and I think the bookmakers have done a good job of shielding themselves from liability on Philadelphia because if you watch the first 3 games, it's really hard unless you're the ultra contrarian, right? And you like to look smarter than everyone and go against, fade the public, right? It's really hard to back this Washington Wizards team in this specific matchup where they have absolutely no answer for Joel Embiid at all. I mean, I think he had like 36 points in 28 minutes last game. 36 in 28 minutes. I mean, no answer at all here. So the numbers say to take the Wizards. Your brain says to take Philadelphia. The tape says to take Philadelphia. I'm going to go ahead and suggest to play the over here in the Wizards. Most likely the Wizards' last stand here. Let's talk about the evening game. This was a game that we enjoyed as Run Pure Bets members because I was on the Jazz. -5 in the game 3 against Memphis. Here's my idea. Memphis came out, stole game 1. Ja Morant is absolutely fantastic. The battle on who's the better draft pick, Ja or Zion, is going to go on for the next 5 to 8 years, and I think it's fantastic for the NBA. So I love it here. I think it's great for Ja to go ahead and get perspective. I think the Warriors would have lost anyway, so let's go ahead and let the whole national audience get to see Ja Morant, get to learn about him on a national stage. Steph's still going to be a star next year. That being said, the win over Utah in game 1 was fool's gold. Here's why. Donovan Mitchell didn't play. Okay, no, superstar subscription, I love that, right? Not in this case because simply without him, they were not able to get the shot creation that they needed. With Donovan Mitchell back on the floor, everybody looks better. Rudy looks better. Joe Ingles looks better. Bogdanovich looks better. Even Clarkson is tougher to defend in the minutes when Mitchell's not off the floor because I think they're a little more tired from dealing with that shot creator. Mitchell, fantastic behind the arc, fantastic with the pace, and hey, let's go ahead and give Mike Conley a little love too, right? Pretty interesting situation for him in Memphis, right? He used to play in Memphis. Ja's wearing his old number. He's seen what he used to be, the young, athletic, exciting point guard that Memphis is rallying around. Now he's the villain. Ja's the new guy in the same number, but give Conley credit. He looked fantastic in that game. And unfortunately, as great of a story as Memphis is, as much as I like Ja, as much as I like Jaren Jackson Jr., Dylan Brooks is fantastic. Give me some Brandon Clark minutes. That guy's great. They are not enough to keep up with this Utah Jazz team, even at this inflated number of 5.5. The model's not going to tell you to play at 5.5, but it's at 5.5 for a reason because this Utah team is on fire, ready to go. The game 1 loss got them locked in. We thought there might be potential worry behind the scenes, right? With Mitchell sitting, his team wanting him to play, the Jazz team not wanting him to play. But guess what? You win the next 3 games. People don't really seem to mind anymore. So great job by Utah, just sweeping that controversy under the rug. I like the Utah Jazz again here tonight. This is the first round of the NBA playoffs, and favorites have been absolutely smashing. Not only straight up, but against the spread, okay? It's been a pretty square first round. It's been a pretty chalky first round. And hey, it's the NBA playoffs, right? There's the elite, there's the cream, and there's the rest. In the past, we almost wrote off the first round of the playoffs, right? And we all got ready for the second round. The NBA's gotten deeper. The star power is there. The talent's there. The first round's a little more exciting. But still, this is a 1 seed versus, a 9 seed, right? That win over the Warriors, give them credit, but the Warriors probably a better team, probably let down in the moment, and probably had a better chance to upset the Utah Jazz. DB Gnarly in the chat, what's up? Thomas Zellner with us too, as well. So that is the NBA rundown for today, and I will go ahead and give you my best bet. And I just said it. It is the Utah Jazz. We'll take them -5.5. I like them to get it done against Memphis. I also like Philly to blow them out. I think this is going to be a square night. We saw it all weekend. The favorites are here to play. The favorites are here to stay. And let's go ahead and move on to the next round. Washington, great team, great story. Beat up in the wrong time with the wrong matchup. Come back next year. Get a playmaking wing, right? Get another big man, right? Daniel Gafford's great, but he needs some help here, right? Davis Bertans, turn the clock back a year. We need 2019 Davis Bertans, not this guy. So I'm sorry, but I think it's lights out for Washington. Break out the brooms. I think Philly sweeping. I like Utah to get it done here tonight. I like Donovan Mitchell to carry the day. Rudy Gobert, what a fantastic defender. The rest of the Jazz, fantastic from three. Give me Utah -5.5. Quick reminder, head on over to Run Pure Bets. Use the promo code BETS25 off to become a member. Have access to the Discord. Have access to my plays. Have access to the Keg Live show. Have access to all the top handicappers in this industry. So head on over to runpurebets.com. Any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM on Twitter because I'm always happy to help you out. Regardless of what's going on with the service. So definitely would love to have you on board as a member. Of course, we've got a bunch of great things going on. Keg's up over like 100 units on that NASCAR Sunday show. I hung out with him yesterday, and he cashed again yesterday. What a surprise. Wonderful for me. I like having the money in my bank account. Made this Memorial Day that much more exciting as I was able to bust out the steak and not just the hot dogs and burgers. So thank you for that, Keg, because I enjoyed those winners. Hey, I gave out a couple winners too. Don't want to sell myself short. Score with D did as well. Definitely head on over, join the movement, Run Pure Sports, Run Pure Sports, Run Pure Bets, the best value in sports gambling information on the internet. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back tomorrow as we get a little more first take style, guys. The debate returns. I'll have Travis Mangone. I'll have JSU. I will be here myself, and we will break into these playoff games because I'll tell you what, tonight's slate's pretty good. Tomorrow's slate is absolutely fantastic. So I can't wait to hang with you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. Until then, run pure.